a special treat for you. I think you've seen him walking around most of the morning. And it is, let me tell you the story. So the story was, give Jimmy a call, like, hey buddy, you haven't been out here since I've been here. Let's get you out here to talk to our people. It's like, hey, anytime, man. But I got something coming up with Home Services and Berkshire Hathaway in June. So maybe I can come over in June and I'll just put that on my trip. I'm like, it's a great idea. We'd love to have you anytime. Well, now he's not doing that extra thing that he was going to be doing. And he flew all the way from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, to be with all of you. And I even let him off the hook. I'm like, Jimmy, you don't have to do this. We can do this anytime. You're always welcome in our house, just whenever it's good for you. And he's like, no, dude, I told you I'm doing this. I want to see your people. I want to talk to your people. I want them to get to know me like you know me. And so I still want to come out if you want to. So we were in Phoenix yesterday. We're in summer, by the way. It is summer outside. He came out from Santa Rosa Beach to sit in Phoenix to work with a lot of our agents, our managers, and he's doing the same thing here in Las Vegas today. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have a dear friend of mine and amazing colleague from Home Service of America here with us today. And he said one thing. He's like, Troy, you don't call the fire department? I said, why? He goes, I'm about ready to murder this. I'll just leave it like that. But anyways, Jimmy, come on, baby, come on.
It was actually called the fire department. I'm about to set this on fire.
I totally did. There was a police one.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So, hey, listen, I'm really excited to be with you guys today to go through some of these things. Let me just say this about my buddy Troy. Yes, we did get back in last night later. Next thing I know, I was like, man, we didn't get a chance to eat dinner because we were kind of rushed to get to the airport. You're supposed to have people that hold you accountable for good things, you know what I mean? And listen, if this is the worst decision I make in Las Vegas, this is great. But I'm eating a cheesesteak at 10:45 last night, and I was like, what are you doing with your life? And then I turned to Troy and I said, I'm going to tell you something. Hey, cuz, it used to be a lot worse decisions than eating a cheesesteak at 10:45, so I'm going to live with it. It'll be fine. So, I want to go through some stuff today just to kind of share with you guys what we're seeing right now. This is the fun part for me. I do have the best job in the world, I'll just be honest. I just get to do this where I get to hear from y'all. I've already talked to a bunch of y'all this morning. We talked about different things that are working. And so I love hearing from you guys. Thanks for all that you do to support the Friday Masterminds that we do for all home services. And excited to be with you guys and share some of this stuff. So I'm going to get right into this, okay? I'm going to go through a couple things. I'm going to talk about really 3 opportunities that I see right now, some of the things that we're seeing, but at the foundation of all of this is more client relationships, okay? So I'm going to talk about some technical stuff, I'm going to talk about some practical things, but ultimately, nothing happens unless we have conversations and we build relationships. So all of this is at the foundation of that. We're going to talk about building some unstoppable momentum, specifically with some strategies. We're also going to do what's happening with marketing, some of the things we're seeing right now. Literally, we had a change with Instagram last week with an opportunity I'm going to share with you. And then also, we're going to talk about harnessing AI technology. I got to tell you on the AI side. This was last year, this is like right after AI came out. I was speaking at a conference for home services and we were out in Palm Desert. I think speaking of heat, we were in Palm Springs in August. Whoever planned that? That's right. Gino, that's right. So literally we did that. This was right after AI had come out. Friend of mine, who's the CEO at Home Services of Nebraska, he says, Jimmy, come here, I want to introduce you to one of my agents. You got to hear this. I go over there in the lobby, I'm meeting the agent, and it says, this is this client of mine. She has a ranch out in Nebraska, and they run cattle and all these things, and she just asked me, because the title was Harnessing AI, and he said, she just asked me, this is right after AI started, she said, I'm wondering why we're going to talk about, at a real estate conference, artificial insemination. Now let me say this, y'all. I grew up on a farm. We are not going to be talking about that. We're not doing any of that stuff today. We're going to talk about some practical ways you can use AI, artificial intelligence, all right? So we're going to go through some of these things, all right? Here's what I want to talk about on the building momentum, because here's what's happened in my opinion. It's been a tough 4 years. Y'all realize we're 4 years since it's been continuing to be difficult in this business? Now, here's the thing that I do know after 32 years in business. This is back in my day, I'm the old guy now. 32 years in this business, one thing I've learned is spring always comes after winter.
Amen.
And y'all, it's been winter for about 3-4 years now, okay? Now here's the thing is what do you do in the winter? First thing you do is you survive. Second thing you do is you prepare for spring. And then what you do is once you're prepared, now you get ready because you know it's right around the corner. I'm just telling y'all, it's not about if, it's when. Does this market take back off again, okay? Now, where are we right now? Obviously, I mean, we were beginning to take shape to have a very good year. We were beginning to see everything trend up. We're seeing some flattening now, obviously. Everything was happening. Rates were pulling back down. And then all of a sudden, bombs started dropping. And oil went up. And all these things happened. Now, we're getting back to a normalization now. And so what do we do going into this second half of the year? I was talking about this past week. If you think about it, and I'm going to use an athletic analogy here, if every single, the best people, the championship teams, they win the second half. And what they do is here we are, literally, what's the day? I don't even know what today is, but we're middle of June, right? So we're a week and a half, 2 weeks away from the middle of the year. And so here's what happens is when you go into halftime, you evaluate what worked in the first part of the year. You evaluate what didn't work. You make adjustments so that when you come out of halftime, which is literally here in the next couple of weeks, so that you propel yourself to win that second half. So we're going to talk about some strategies today that I know. And if y'all can't tell by my accent, I'm not a professor. I'm not going to speak on any theory. I'm going to tell you what I know. And every single thing I'm going to talk about is absolutely working right now, okay? So we're going to go into some of these. Here's some of those. We're going to talk about re-engaging your database. We're going to talk about reimagining some of your just sold campaigns because there are ways to do it better now. And then I'm going to talk about the deal of the week strategy. So as we go through this is the text. Now I want to use this as an example. If you've got buyers, potential buyers, prospects, that you set up for search criteria, whether that be in your CRM, on the MLS, whatever it is, here's what happens. And let me just say this too. I'll get all these flies, y'all. We'll get all this stuff out because I see some people taking photos. Y'all can take them, but I mean, have any of y'all ever looked at any of those? That's exactly right. Nobody does. So take them if you want to. Y'all ain't gonna look at them. I know how it is. We're going to email you all the slides though, so you'll have all this stuff. Because if you can't tell, don't let this accent fool you. I'm just to about 600 words a minute. So we're going to move real fast, okay? So this is the text email that you will send out to those folks that you have property to do searches that are being automatically emailed out to. It's real easy for us to lose focus on these folks. They fall through the cracks. Maybe you haven't talked to them in a little while. This is a great way to re-engage them. It says, this is your name with your brokerage. You've been receiving emails with properties from me for a while now. I don't want to send you emails you don't need, but I do want to make sure I send you info on homes you're interested in. Should I make any adjustments to the type of homes, price range, or frequency of emails I'm sending you? I'll tell you this, don't send this to 200 people, because your phone will I'm telling you, people are going to respond, okay? Some of them will come back and say, take me off your list, I've already bought. It's fine, we can't make a living on maybes. It's yeses and nos, right? But some are going to come back and say, actually, we're thinking about that we may need a fourth bedroom now. They're telling you, and you're getting an opportunity to now have that communication, okay? This is a great way to just start building some momentum with some people maybe that you've got in your database. All right, just so reimagine. This is something we're going to do. And let me just say this too. We're going to have a time for Q&A for a little while here that Troy and I are going to kind of go through. So if you've got questions on some of these things or other things that you're seeing, just let me know. We're going to go through that in just a little bit as well. We did an amazing partnership with 1000 Watt. Has any of y'all seen some of this stuff that we're doing with 1000 Watt? I don't know if you've ever seen Mark Davison before, who's one of the co-founders for 1000 Watt. Probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met. He comes with about a 20-year background, or 20 years ago, he was in New York with an ad agency, and he was writing ads and copy, and he created this idea and understanding of what marketing was versus promotion. And he just does an incredible job on understanding the consumer. This is a partner that we partnered with, and what they did is they go in every single quarter and they have between 2,500 and 4,000 potential buyers and sellers that they bring in, and they survey what is the biggest issues that they have right now, and how do they then market to that pain point, and then we get that information. He's doing a podcast every single month with Vince Lisi, our president for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. He's going to be on with me as well as with Vince here in a couple weeks on our Friday Mastermind, and he just sees things differently. So I want you to see kind of what he's doing here. Instead of just sold. Look, the reason why we still send just sold, just listed postcards, they still work, y'all. But there is a better way to do it. So this is one of those examples. This home sold in 5 days. I bet you're curious how we made it happen. Different. Creates a curiosity gap here. Also, let's say that you got one of these. This property took 6 months to sell. Here's why. Everybody wants to know. So guess who this is going to grab the attention of? The people who are thinking about selling. So it's a great opportunity for us to speak a little differently. Now, we did this also. This is instead of a postcard. This is one of the first ones we did this way. We're continuing to do these because they just absolutely work. We know this. Most of our just sold, most of our marketing, a lot of times, when we think about market, we're talking about, specifically about stats and what's going on. Here's the thing. Stats tell, stories sell. So what we wanted to do is reimagine this where we're telling the story where people can begin to relate to it, okay? So this is Colby Anderson. He's in the office with me. I work really close with him on everything he's doing. This will get you an idea. This is folded 3 times so that the top portion, I don't know, I had a mama, I don't know if y'all, growing up in the South, I had a mom that made me write thank you notes. Anybody else have a mom that made me write thank you notes? I don't know if your mom taught you this, but she told me that every time I put the thank you note in, that in the envelope where they opened it, they would open it and we wanted them to see thank you first. You know what I'm talking about? This is what we're doing with this. We're folding this where the top portion, when they open it, is this top part. Did you hear about your neighbor with the address? I'm going to be honest. People know this. They are going to read the rest of this when you say, did you hear about your neighbor? Then what we're doing is we're bullet pointing a story here where they can begin to relate. Your neighbor called us, we tell that. Strategy first, showing second. Tailored marketing, overcoming obstacles. Watch the full story. We got a QR code. I'm going to show you the video here in just a second. Also, record-breaking sales result. This is a way we can tell the story in a way that gives us the ability to set ourselves apart. People can see themselves in the story, and we're taking something that we know that works, which is just sold, and we're taking it to a whole other level. Because now we're telling the stories instead of just the stats. This is what it kind of looks like, okay? I'm going to play this. I'm hoping the audio will work here. I think it will. And then also what I want you to see is I'm going to call out a couple of specific things that we did in this to frame this so that it would capture the attention.
Wondering what it took to get a record sales price in this market environment? Here's a story.
All right, so a couple of things here. One of the things that we did in this is that we wanted to make sure that, I call it dog whistle marketing. We wanted the dogs to hear what we were saying. You know what I'm saying? The people that it was going to affect. So guess who this is directed at? People thinking about selling. So think of it this way. It says, wondering what it took to get a record sales price in this market environment? Here's the story. Literally, we've got that first 2 to 3 seconds to capture their attention. The people that are thinking about selling are absolutely going to watch the rest of this, okay? Then what we did is we took the format you saw and he tells the story. I want to show you the outro of this though, because the call to action is critically important on this, okay? So this is the outro.
Half of the average days on market. We broke a record in watercolor off the Gulf and sold this home for $9,275,000. At Anderson Group 38, we're not just in the business of listing homes, we're in the business of getting them sold. If you know someone looking to sell their home, share this video with them today.
Now a couple things. Who don't want to sell a $9 million house? But let me just say this. We've been doing this on $400,000 houses. It's very effective, okay? Couple of things here on the structure. You saw how we did it in the letter. It's the same way we did the video. But on the outro, we are riding the wave of what Instagram has already told us, which is one of the biggest things is the shares. They want to see people interacting. And so what we did is he called for the share. Share this with someone you know who has a house they'd like to sell. Now, that could be people that are listed right now that haven't been able to sell, because we're seeing more of that. That could be somebody that they know that's getting ready to move, whatever it is. Think about this. Costed $0, 48 shares. 48 shares. Now, let me just say this. He's got a mama. He's got friends, so there's probably some people sharing it. It wasn't just sellers. But 24, let's take half of this. Imagine if you had a video that you could produce that was shared with 24 potential sellers. This is what we're doing with this, is we're reimagining how we're doing the just sold in a way that gets us more activity. All right, deal of the week. How many of y'all know what a deal of the week is? Anybody know what this is? Okay, great. This is going to be great. Here's the thing about this deal of the week is, every single time, we always talk about
We need to be speaking to our database more. We need to be speaking to the people we can target more. We're in real estate. We can do all the videos you want, dancing to the trending music. But I'm telling y'all, sooner or later, somebody will sell some real estate. So what do we do to highlight the best thing we see in the MLS every single week? Doesn't even have to be your listing. Now, if it isn't, I might share that I was going to share that with the listing agent. But you're promoting something you've seen, just like you would to any of your buyers. Okay? So here's what this looks like. A couple of things that make this successful. First thing is, every single time, the subject line is the same. Your area, whatever it is, deal of the week. It's going to be that deal of the week. So this is telling them where the area is. It gets consistency. Let me just say this. Consistency breeds trust, even subconsciously. So the most effective people are even doing this where it's like every single Wednesday at 10 a.m., they're going to, whatever time they choose, it's going to go out. It's consistency. Subconsciously, like, man, every single week he sends me something. She sends me this every single week at the same time. And it unconsciously builds some trust. Also, don't include the address or the photos in this. We want to give them enough information to raise their hand for additional details, okay? Also, simple call to action. And I'm going to show you exactly what one of these looks like. This is one of our agents in Destin. This is Holly Darcy. She sends this out, and this is what it looked like. Subject line's the same every single week. I knew I had to show you this house the moment I saw it. Grabbed their attention. Maybe it's something like this. The lowest price single-family home I've seen in this neighborhood in 2 years. Maybe it is the best value for an investment property that I have seen this year. Whatever it is, capture their attention. Begin to tell the story. Start to grab their attention right out of the gate. And then it's bullet points. When I write for Inman, anything I do it in bullet points. Because, it says cut. See, that's my accent. I'm sorry, y'all follow me. I was in Kansas City, and our buddy in Kansas City says, hey, by the way, we got somebody over here that can do some interpreting for y'all with Jimmy. Is it that bad? It's not. So listen, we bullet point this because people are scanners. So what we're doing is we're highlighting some of these so that if they find one item, then they're going to want the additional information. Then down at the bottom, you'll notice this. Curious and want to see photos? Just reply to this email. We want to make it easy for them to reply back. What's happening with this is another way to re-engage your database, and people will raise their hand and want the additional information they're telling you they're getting ready to potentially buy. So this is a great way to utilize this in a very specific way that is very specific to real estate. And yes, we do need to do local type marketing. Yes, we do need to be the resource on what's happening in our local area. But ultimately, we need to have some real estate stuff. And this is a great way to do it. All right. And we'll even do some of these where we'll do it where this is not my listing, but it's the best value I saw all week. That grabs people's attention. It builds trust. All right. We can do this also in video format. This is a friend of mine that grew up. So you gotta understand, I was born in Florida, Alabama. Let me just say this. It doesn't get any more South Alabama than half in Florida, half in Alabama, okay? He is from Opp, Alabama. OPP, just north of Florida. He makes me sound like I'm from New York. This is Jay Johnson. Jay, when he first started working with me, said, hey, listen, I don't think I want to do video. I know you keep telling everybody, I don't do video. People will make fun of me and my accent. I said, they are. I promise you they are. But they're going to make fun of you by sharing it with other people, which is going to get it in front of more people, which is going to end up helping you sell more property. I'm telling you, you got to get on video. So what does he do? He comes up with this idea on the deal of the week. He's going to do it. And he calls it his Friday Five. Anybody seen Jay? Okay, great. All right, I'm about to make y'all's weekend. So here's what he does. He comes on every single week and says, y'all know what time it is. Time for that Friday Five. I am sitting in a meeting in Portland, Oregon for Berkshire. We're sitting there, and there's 10 of us at the table. I'm at one end, and I hear somebody at the other end of the table on the other side of the country from where we live. They said, this guy can make Friday have 5 syllables. I said, they're talking about Jay. They're talking about Jay. And sure enough, that's what it looks like. So I'm going to let y'all hear this. I think I've got the video here. And let's see if it's got it. Yeah, I think I got to push it up here.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that Friday Five. This week, you'll find me in Seagrove Beach, Florida, 31 on 38. Where are you watching from today? Let's hear it in the comments below.
All right, now let me just say this. Everybody knows what y'all just did. It's like, what in the world is this cartoon character talking about? And then they listen. And then you know what else they do? They share it 98 times. Now, here's the thing is, Jay was like, well, man, if I won't sell real estate, I might as well sell $5+ million places. So here's what he does on his video on each week, showcasing these.
Now let me give y'all some stats on this one behind me. This is 3820 East County Highway 38, number 108. It's a 3-bedroom, front condo, almost 3,000 square feet, currently for sale for $5.7 million. And there's 3 things I'd like to share with y'all about this one.
All right, now a couple things here. Literally, you know, as you're watching this, think about this. He does the same thing every week. He's got a theme on the entrance, and then he gives 3 things he likes about the property. Scannable, easy, shareable, and then he does a simple call to action at the end. I want to tell you, he got into the business. He's been in the business now 5 years. I saw him at dinner the other night, and literally, I was with Chris Kelly, and so Chris goes, "Is that Jay?" I was like, "Yes, that's him. That's him." And so literally, I said, "Jay, how much are you gonna close this year?" He said, "I don't know, about 65 million." And I said, "Where is it all coming from?" He said, "Friday Finds." I said, "Okay." So literally, if you're wondering, this stuff works. So be yourself. Be yourself, because ultimately it's going to draw your ideal client. So whatever that looks like, and if you're saying, "I can't do video," come on, y'all. If Jay can do video, you can do video, okay? So that's what that looks like. I'm gonna keep moving here. All right, 3 ways to market in the now. So what's happening right now? What are the things we're seeing trend-wise and the things that we're doing that we can absolutely take advantage of? A couple of things. I want to talk about being the local resources. Yes, that is absolutely helpful, as well as creatively copying some of the other people. We don't have to recreate the wheel. All we gotta do is put our own rims on it and just spin those suckers, okay? So we're gonna talk about exactly how you can do that. And also just be fearless. Just be yourself. Be authentically like Jay was. Be yourself. All right. This is Adam Asari. He's the head of Instagram. If you're not following him, follow him. Okay? It's literally like playing poker with a card. Every single week he does videos where he talks about exactly what Instagram is doing on the algorithm to reward certain types of content, certain things that he's doing. Here's some of the things that he's doing. This was last week. This is a new opportunity with Instagram that just came out. I'm going to explain what the opportunity is, but I'm going to let you hear from him. You'll notice, if the head of Instagram can shoot selfie videos, we can shoot selfie videos, right? This is what he does.
This week we're launching a subscription for those of you who want a little more out of Instagram. It's called Instagram Plus, and it consists of a bunch of fun little extra features. You can extend your stories to 48 hours from 24 hours. You can actually see how many people have rewatched your story. Not who, but how many times it was rewatched. You can search your story viewer list, which people have asked about for a very long time. You can even get a little preview of someone else's story, not the full thing, but just a preview, by long pressing on it without triggering your name showing up on their story viewer list, and more fun things. So I encourage you to check it out.
All right, so a couple things with this. This is the advantage. They've never done this before. It's $3.99 a month. It gives you some specific things that you can do. So I want to highlight some of these because, to me, here's what we found is when they tell us something, we have about a 2 or 3 week window where it really gets rewarded. So this is something we take action on now. You're probably going to get some big results from. First thing is that you can now do 48 hours on your story instead of the 24 hours. So the part that you put up there that rolls out, you can do this now for double the amount of time. So imagine now you're highlighting your new listing. It gives you that capability, okay? It's going to give you that capability. Also, 6 pinned posts instead of 3. So when you go onto an Instagram, now that is becoming our resume. So when people go on and they check you out on Instagram, we have the ability to put 3 posts up top. Now we can do 6, which is the full picture they see when they first come. So you can really frame this in a way that gives you that advantage. Also, it gives you story spotlights. I think I'm supposed to be on a Zoom call right now, or team meeting. You hear that? This is the story spotlight. Here's the beauty of the story spotlight. Y'all know when you're on Instagram at the top, it has all the little bubbles with the stories, and it has different people up there. What this does now is everybody that's following you, you have 1 token a week, and you can choose one of your stories that will be moved to the front and top of all of the people that are following you. So what's the most important thing for your business that week? whatever that is, we've now got the ability, without paying, well, it's $3.99 a month, the ability to get in front of the people that are already following us with the most important message we have. It's almost acting like a CRM now. Because it also does, it gives us unlimited audience lists. So you can put your potential buyers, you can put your potential sellers, you can put your past clients. The same way we can group groups of people in our CRM, we can now do that and give specific stories to that group on Instagram as well. Y'all, this is a game changer because it gives the ability to get very specific, targeted, and not just depend on the algorithm to do things for us. We can now initiate some of those things. And then also it gives you advanced insights. It's kind of cool because it's going to tell you the person who watches your new listing 7 times, that story. It's going to tell you the person that watches whatever you're looking at 7 times, giving you the cue to reach out or that they're interested. So some really interesting things there. What I want to do is, before I go into some specific content,
is I want you to understand what I'm doing.
With this, to understand how to create some of this psychologically, the content that people want to listen to. Okay? Now, I will tell you, I'm now utilizing this, what I call the climbing of the dopamine ladder. Dopamine is just basically the feel-good
Hormone, right?
it just drops in with us. This is what we want to do is we have 3 seconds, 6 seconds, basically to keep people's attention. So how do we keep doing that in a way that we get them to trust us? Here's what it looks like, okay? There's 6 stages. The first stage that I've written about is stimulation. We want to grab your attention. That's that first couple 3 seconds. And we're going to do that 2 ways, okay? Number 1 is that we're going to do it with motion and color. If you'll notice, I'm going to show you an example of this. If you'll notice some of the stuff that grabs your attention the most, it is when it starts out, they're walking towards the camera. They're moving to the side and talking. There's motion in this. There's been a psychological study that said motion and colors grab the attention of people psychologically. So what we're doing is we're stimulating the brain to say, this is different. I want to know more about this psychologically. The second step is captivating. This is where you capture their attention. This is where that first line that you say is going to need to be different, okay? So we're going to go through that. And then also, we're going to get some anticipation. Hey, stick around to the end of this today because I'm going to show you the number 1 thing I know that can grow your business. If I say that, psychologically, I'm building this bridge to keep you around until the end. So we're utilizing that. And then validation. Validation is that I want somebody that is watching something, and I want them to say, yeah, that makes sense. So we're asking certain questions like, would you love to have views from the hills in Las Vegas of the Strip at your primary residence? Yeah, I like that. We want the head nod. We want to have that where they're validated. And then affection. It's got to be likable. And let me just say this. The best way to be likable is be yourself. Because ultimately, the worst transactions you've had are people you should have never been doing business with. They're not your people. There's people that my accent, how fast I talk, it's going to drive people crazy. That's fine. It's not my people. Then there's people who be like, that's my guy. That's my girl. That's the person I can do business with. I've built a relationship. I've created some affection where they automatically, anybody that's done video will tell you. I mean, we were talking about this morning. We were talking about how literally when you walk into listing appointments because of the YouTube channel now, they already know you. And you have never met them, some of them. So it does create an opportunity to build affection prior to, which is pretty amazing. And then last but not least, we want the revelation that we can help. That's where they follow. That's when they begin to go to the next video and watch. Is they're like, that's some interesting information. That person can help me relieve the pain point or get from where I am to where I want to go. That's that dopamine ladder, and that's kind of the 6 stages of that journey. All right, let's keep moving. All right, here's what I'm finding is the most effective people on social media have one thing, okay? They're all this. They're outside cats. Y'all know there's a difference between an indoor cat and an outside cat. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you this. I grew up on a farm. We had a barn cat. You don't mess with that barn cat. You know what that barn cat? That barn cat will cut you. Well, you know what I'm talking about? They aren't waiting on somebody else. Here's what an indoor cat looks like. You know what I'm talking about? Now here's the thing. Here's what they are. They're lazy. They're waiting on somebody to feed them. They're antisocial. And they're delusional. Because here's what an indoor cat does. They sit up by the window thinking they got it made in their plush little place, and they're looking out the window at the world coming by. They don't even realize they're in a cage. Here's the thing. the most effective agents that are utilizing social media, they're these outside cats. Here's what outside cats do, okay? They're, number one, they're free. You can't you can't tell them anything. I mean, they are focused on making things happen. They're going forward. They're creative. They know that they got to do things differently probably to make sure they get to eat today different than they did yesterday, because everything they're going after is probably changing. Also, they're fearless. They're not afraid of anything. They're going to just show up and they're going to fight for what's theirs. And lastly, on those folks, let me just say what they are too. They realize, these outside cats, they realize if I'm going to eat today, somebody got to die. Now listen, the good news is ain't nobody going to die for us to get closing today. But I'm going to tell you something. When you get to a place where you are creative, you're free, you're not waiting on somebody, not waiting on this company to feed your needs, you're going to get them yourself. You're not waiting on your manager to take care of all of it, you're going to do it yourself. That's when you move from being somebody that's waiting on something to happen to being an outside cat. Outside cats always eat, y'all. I'm going to tell you this, I've never known an outside cat that starved. They always eat. So what can you do? Here's some examples of this, all right? The first thing they are is they're creative, all right? Here's an example. I was talking to somebody, we're talking about listings sitting longer on the market. What can we do to market differently? Here's, you got to get creative, all right? This is a buddy of mine, Matt Leonetti, he was up in Canada, and he had this house, and he was like, I'm going to get this house a personality. I want this house to tell its story emotionally where it will grab the attention of the next buyer. This is what the first part of this looked like.
Hi, my name is 47 Bennington Heights Drive, but you can call me Betty. And this is my family. Michael, Sarah, and Claire. You see, we've been a family for years, and we've been through it all together. From our first dinner, to our first movie night, first night home from the hospital, first birthday, first game of tap.
All right, y'all feel that? Yes. Ooh, that's different than just listen. Come with me in my house so I can show you. Come on, y'all. This is next level. This grabs the attention of buyers. This gets shared with other people. And listen to how he does when the transition of the daughter they're telling the story of the daughter growing up and then the daughter going off to college. This is how it ends.
Amazing things. But with Claire gone, the rest of my family needs to start their next chapter as well. They would have loved for me to come, but I need to stay here. I will always cherish our memories we made together, and it was my honor to protect and comfort them all of these years. I can't wait to meet my new family. I promise I will give you all of my love. You'll feel it as soon as you walk through the door.
Hey, Rick, you feel that hair raising on the back of your neck? Me either, but they did. Y'all feel that emotion there? I mean, this is one of those. This is different, y'all. And let me just say this. That is a big production. Go look at Bridget Baldwin, the agent's in Arizona with the company. She did one of these where she simply used AI. This is what it looked like, okay?
If you've ever fallen in love, you know how it goes. It can totally change your life. That's what happened for this homeowner. She bought this home as the start of her journey. Solo, independent, ready for a new chapter. Just like that, she meets the love of her life.
Let me just say this. She did all of that with AI doing the voiceover. She used an existing video that she'd done with just B-roll footage with her phone, and it produced this. So you can do these from that perspective. This is how she did it, basically. She used B-roll footage of the house that she'd used for some of her other videos. She also used Artlist.ai for the voiceover. She just basically, that's her MLS subscription. She dropped her MLS subscription in there. It did the audio, and then she just backfilled, utilizing CapCut for the video editing. Now, you may be saying, oh, I can't do that. I promise you, you can find somebody that can. I mean, we just had somebody that can do it for you, probably. You know? You can do these things. There are no excuses anymore. This is another way to absolutely do a little bit different marketing. Now, here's the thing also. Remember I said you just be authentic with yourself. Anybody seen this? Oh, I love this. All right, so this is a friend of mine who's in Charlotte, North Carolina. He got started doing videos, and he had a Gen Z employee that was editing for him. His smart aleck Gen Z employee sends this back to him. send that back to you. He said, I was so mad, but man, it was funny. He said, I had to post it, even though I didn't want to. They told me I should post it. I posted it, and he said, and it got 2.3 million shares. He and I were speaking at a conference about 9 months ago, and let me just say this. What you see there, it walks into the gym at 6 a.m. with two socks up to his knees, his New Balance shoes, his cargo pants. And I was like, that dude is, he's exactly who came through on that video. He's authentically himself. And so as I'm talking to him, I said, hey man, tell me, Mike, what did this video mean to your business? He said, Jimmy, in the last 6 months, I've gotten 72 referrals to Charlotte from that one video. He said, I've added 2 team members just to handle the referrals that are coming in from this video. So here's the thing. When you're authentically yourself, and when we laugh at ourselves, Jay was willing to laugh at himself. Mike's willing to laugh at himself. All of a sudden, we go and we attract the exact people like, listen, if you're not that person, don't do that. But whatever it is that you love or whoever you are, show up. Show up in that way, and I'll promise you're going to find your ideal clients. Here's another one. These outside guests, they push the boundaries. Now, I don't know if I do this. This is a friend of mine in Charlotte, North Carolina. She had a listing that was not getting the showings, and she got feedback that the listing was too dark. Didn't have enough natural light. This is what she did with that feedback for a video.
This is our beautiful listing at 2829 Plumfield, inside the Beltline, listed for only $525. We got this feedback over the weekend, and so I wanted to make this video showing you all of the natural light that's just pouring into this house. It's coming in every window. You don't even need the lights on. There's literally natural light everywhere. So what do you think? Do you think there's plenty of natural light or not enough?
Now let me say this, I probably wouldn't do that. But that's who she is. And let me say this, by being authentically herself, that thing had sat for 45 days without getting any offers. She got 2 offers the next week directly from this, and it went under contract. So here's the thing, when we show up as ourselves, sometimes we gotta understand, everything we do is not about us. It's about serving our clients at the highest level. It's about showing up in the best version of who we are. And when you do that, I promise you, everything else takes care of itself. I just paused there with her sipping on that natural light. That's ridiculous. All right, I'm going to go into the AI technology. I'm going to wrap up this, so we're going to go into Q&A here in just a few minutes. Let me just say this. I'm going to give you one super practical way to use AI. We were talking a little bit about this. How do I get started? This is one way you can do this. And again, we're going to have these slides for you, so we'll get these prompts for you. But this is what I termed my Chick-fil-A on Sunday listing presentation. Y'all know what Chick-fil-A is on Sunday? Close. Dang right. You do this, you're going to do closed listings too, okay? All right, this is what we do with this, okay? We start with this, and this is the first prompt, okay? This is before we're going into the listing appointment. We're preparing for this, all right? We're going to come in and we're going to say, act as an expert real estate copywriter specializing in writing MLS descriptions that encourage readers to schedule an appointment to see the home after reading the MLS description. Please rewrite the following MLS description in a way that is new, fresh, and different from this one, and you just copy and paste the existing one that was there before, okay? Now, if you want to, and you say, I don't want to do that, I don't want to use the existing one, or you don't have one, you can do this, okay? Please act as an expert real estate copywriter specializing in writing MLS descriptions that encourage readers to schedule an appointment. See the home after reading the MLS description. Your task is to write an MLS description for my new listing. Ask me as many questions as needed to get an understanding of the home to be able to write the best MLS description possible. Now, what we're going to do is when it gives us that first one, we're going to print that and we're going to put it in our file folder, okay? So we're getting ready for the listing presentation. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to do this. This is great. Now, please, y'all notice how I do this? How I say please? I had somebody ask me, said, is this because you're a Southern gentleman? I said, maybe, but I'm going to be honest. I'm becoming the guy I used to make fun of. These robots may actually kill us all, y'all. They're speaking, But here's the thing about that. If they do, I want them to think I'm nice. I'll be the last one around the campfire looking around. You know what I'm saying? So I'm literally, but let me just say this. There was a study done by Yale where they did prompting with courteous asking prompts and not courteous, and they got a better response than the ones where they were courteous. Wow. Kind of scary, but it's absolutely something that I've tried to tap into. All right? Now this is great. Now please rewrite the MLS description in a more luxury, professional, conversational, coastal tone, whatever tones you want, okay? Have a total of 3 of these. You want 3 MLS descriptions in different tones, okay? We're gonna print those, we're gonna put them in our file folder. Next, now write an SEO optimized Instagram post announcing this home as a new listing. Now I will tell you, this, I didn't update this today. SEO and AEO, answer engine optimization, because we're asking also for it to do it for AI, okay? We're asking AI to tell us how it will absolutely notice this, okay? Print this and put it in and place it in your presentation file. So now you've got an Instagram post. Now we're going to do this. We're going to come back and do the same thing with Facebook. Print it, put it in your file folder. And now we're going to write a 600-word optimized 600-word blog post for LinkedIn announcing this home as a new listing. I don't know about y'all, we're getting a ton of great stuff on LinkedIn right now. If you're not over there, it's an opportunity. Also, write me an SEO optimized YouTube short video script for this. Print it out. Now listen, everything we're doing here when I'm asking it to do this, I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest, I hate saying that. I'm going to tell y'all what we do, okay? It's not just that we're asking the AI to do it. We're adjusting this and writing this based on our voice. So yes, we're getting the framework from AI, but we're adjusting to where it sounds more like us, okay? Also, we're going to print this up, we're going to put it in the file. TikTok video script, killing it on TikTok. Y'all remember Colby that I showed y'all earlier? Colby Anderson that works with me. He's like, he didn't want to do video, he started doing it, he started getting some traction. And then I said, hey man, you gotta get on TikTok. I'm telling you, you gotta get on TikTok. He said, I'm not getting on TikTok. The Chinese, they're gonna take my info. I said, man, they're not worried about you. I promise you they're not worried about you. 9 months ago, he gets on TikTok. Last month, doing specific community videos on TikTok, he generated over $20 million worth of people that reached out to him from TikTok. Come on, y'all. Don't sleep on TikTok. So we're gonna add this, we're gonna put it in there. Also, now, here's the juice, okay? Now, please write or provide me with 20 unique and creative ways to market this home as a new listing that will help me get this home sold as quickly as possible, for the highest price possible, and it will make me stand out to the home seller as a master real estate marketer. You're going to pick and choose which of those you'll do, add to the things you're already going to do that are different, and we're going to put that in the folder as well. Now, here's what it's going to look like, okay? Here's the listing presentation. I'm sitting there at the table with the homeowners. Mr. and Ms. Seller, I don't know about you, but I'm a visual person, and I don't like to tell you, because what I've seen is that proof is better than promise. You're probably going to have some agents that come in here and tell you what they're going to do. I want to show you. So what I've done is we're using the latest technology with AI to optimize so that we put your information on your home put in front of the ideal buyer for your home. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and done some things that I can show you. Now, here are the 3 listing descriptions that I had AI help me write that I modified so it's in my voice, tells the story of your home. What I would love to do is I want you to understand, yes, we're going to do the best photography. Yes, we're going to do the best videography. But you have to understand, that's what stops the scroll. But now with more houses on the market, the decision is made based on the description. They can look at 10 houses and they make the decision on which one they see, not just on the pictures, but by the description. So we want to maximize that. The other thing I know is, odds are the buyer for this home is going to be somebody just like you. The same way you fell in love with this for whatever the reasons were you did, somebody just like you is going to fall in love with this house as well. So what I'd like for you to do is to go in and get us this information about which one stands out to you. So here's the 3. Which one stands out, jumps out to you? And did I forget anything that I should include in here? They pick one, we make the notes, they're already participating. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to say, now, here's the thing. The biggest obstacle is to make sure we get it in front of the right people as fast as possible. So I've developed what I call my AI Assistant Listing Launch Program. What I've done is AI has helped me make sure we get it in front of the right people. So this is an example of the just listed post we'll do on Facebook. That, listen, I'm not an emoji person. I'm not somebody that does a lot of those things, but AI does, and it does the hashtags as well to make sure we maximize what people want to see. This is the Facebook post. This is the Instagram post. This is the LinkedIn post. This is the YouTube script. This is the TikTok script. It's the entire marketing plan laid out right in front of them. And then we're going to say this, Mr. and Ms. Seller, most agents are going to do the 3 Ps. You know what the 3 Ps are? They're going to put it in the MLS, they're going to place a sign in the yard, and they're going to pray the buyer comes along. Now let me just say this, we're going to do that as well, but this is 20 unique things we're going to do that other agents probably aren't going to do for you. Because if I'm you, what I want to know is what are you going to do different? Here's a list of 20 of them that we're going to do to make sure that we maximize the opportunity right out of the gate. Now, add this to the things you're already doing on your listing presentation. Y'all are pros, but this is a way to supplement that away. And if you do it, it'll be like Chick-fil-A on Sunday. Closed. That's the way we'll do those things, all right? So this is a way that you can utilize AI. We'll have all these slides if you want to utilize this, but you can maximize it as well. All right, so it's time to build some momentum. Here's the thing. We are in the middle of the year. So what are we going to do that's going to set us apart? I will tell you, this is the time of year. And I'm not telling you to work hard, I'm just telling you to work smarter. This is the time of year that most people, me included, all of us, we got kids at home, or we got grandkids at home, or we've got vacations we're taking. It's easy to get distracted during this time. If you'll get focused right now, most people aren't. It's a time that you can separate yourself. It's also a time that the things we do now, literally, we operate in a place where literally the reason that I got this little bit extra round the waist is not because of that stupid cheesesteak sandwich last night. It's what I've been eating for the last 90 days. Because we literally are leading indicators on what happens with our diet, and it's our business as well. The things you do today are not going to show up tomorrow, maybe. But most of them are going to show up 60, 90 days. So the things that you take action on now are going to launch you into this third quarter and into the second half of this year. I want to just share this with you in closing. This is a picture. This is a picture of a dirt road. It's not just any dirt road. This is a dirt road I grew up on. I live on 38 now, and I've been able to see my career grow in ways that I never thought would be possible. So when things, and look, how many of y'all realize life, maybe I'm the only one, life doesn't do up and right. It does up, drop down to the bottom, knock yourself up, pick yourself up, knock the dirt off and start going again, gain some ground, get your knees taken out, drop again, and come back up. Now here's the thing I want you to understand. Every single person here is batting 1,000 with anything that life's thrown at you. Think about it. There's not a single thing, relationally, financially, business, that this world has thrown at you that you have not overcome. The fact that you're sitting here and you're part of this organization tells you you make good decisions. This is a great organization. Here's the other thing is, my grandfather was a pastor, and he said it this way. He said, if you'll treat people like they're hurting, you're going to be right 90% of the time. So let me just say this. All of us came in here with some stuff. It's not just you. But realize this too. This too shall pass. But not just this too shall pass. When you break your arm, literally when it heals, you're stronger than you were when in that place where it broke. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what y'all are facing. I know I'm facing some stuff. Every single bit of this is preparing us for what's to come. So embrace it. Walk through it in a way understanding that it will pass. Here's what I did with this, knowing that I was in that. I was going through some tough times. I drove the 30 miles off the beach from my office that's situated in the midst now of $3+ million on average home sales. That was not there when I was going up. I drove up to that little dirt road where I grew up, and I took a mason jar, and I scooped a mason jar full of that red clay. It sits on the corner of my desk. I see it every morning when I come in. And let me tell you why. I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget the work ethic I learned on that farm. I don't want to forget the sense of community. I don't want to forget that when problems came, we just figured it out. I don't want to forget that outside cat. I want to remember all the things that in life has led to where I am today. Because I don't know about y'all, but I live from a place of realizing that everything that has happened to me or is happening to me has a purpose. And it's to prepare me for something better. So when I did this, I take that. Some nights when I'm struggling, but let me just say this, I do it especially on the days when things are really good. I don't want to forget during those days either. I will unscrew the top on that little jar of clay, and I'll take a little pinch of it. I'll just rub it in my hands. Because I want to remember. And I don't know what that little jar of clay is for you, but I want you to think about the past. And I want you to think about those times when it didn't seem like things could ever work out, and look in the rearview mirror and see how everything happened exactly the way it was supposed to be. Personally, I can look back, the things that I thought were the worst things that could happen to me or that were happening to me turned out to be the biggest and most important things that are shaping me into who I want to be. It's the same way with us. So as we go into this second half of the year, remember where you come from. Understand the opportunity. Understand that spring is right around the corner. And things are coming that we can't even imagine in the opportunities we're going to have in this business. And if you take action now on those things when everybody else is coasting a little bit, I promise you, I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. You'll absolutely have the ability to have your best year ever. Thank y'all.
All right.
How was that? Was that worth the price of admission? I mean,